Good evening, viewers, and welcome to Nsaka program. My name is Himba as your host, and my co-host this evening it's Lancy Sanibanda. We welcome you to Nsaka once again. We made a date last week that we'll be back with the summary of remarrying over. The topic it's on property and children, but this time today we are dealing with a legal personnel. By the way, Lance, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Himba. It's great to be here, great to be back, and looking forward to a nice deliberation as well as a lovely good evening to our viewers.
So natabe muntu uli wonse yokufuna property kainge mvuta imwe kainge vindu kulisha ma property yave kamba bwino apa sinakuona maningi wenze kuti
ife tinakwatira nkhani yakutira njere instead yokwatira nomo vanemba boda bwachenje following day mundu apyanga payadi vabofunsa ni wandari, oh, this is my wife kulibe nkhani ya property.
Well, viewers, thank you so much. Over to you, Lance.
All right, thank you so much, and it's good to have you, our lovely viewers, on this particular platform or on this very program. This is Nsaka. We apologize for bringing it a little bit late. This is due to the special interview that which we had, which we thought that it was of serious public concern as we were talking about the general security of the country. But hey, we said stinga siye kuti Nsaka isankaleko. Nsaka should be there, and we should get to deal with marital statuses. We should get to deal with nkani za miambo or nkani za mwambo, as my father Mkleva likes putting it, at miambo ni miambo. But hey, it's mwambo and not miambo. But anyway, it's good to have you, and we really appreciate. Sorry, Himba, you were saying something?
Nafuno kamba nanga ikankala prulo nikukamba bwanji prulo. If it is prulo, what do you say?
We'll research on that one. Well, so all right, so like you can see, we have continued with remarriage. This is our topic of discussion, and this is a third edition where we are summarizing remarriage. Now, last week we were talking about children and property. So bana mwe mwapeza mchikwati okapena bana we mwenda nayo mchikwati mutilingana nayo bwanji jankani ndiye nkani omwetenzo kamba hapo last week, koma siku ya lero tifuna manje tiangane on a legal point of view, okapena tiangane palamulo ilankula tiani ilankula bwanji kuti iyai ngati we ulina mwana ulina bana okapena wenda mu chikwati cha number 2 cha number 3 cha number 4 ufuniko enda tiani ofuniko enda bwanji ngevo mweti kambapo lero kodi lamulo ilankola bwanji. Himba, you help me with this other language. How do you say it in local language?
You want Nancy? Cancer, welcome to the program.
Thank
Cancer, you are muted.
Yes, I've heard the topic, the issue about remarriage, and how do you deal with properties where one has remarried. For instance, where the husband or the wife died, and then you want to remarry, or indeed where you went to court and divorced, and then you want to marry. So how do you treat those properties? How do you treat children? Those children who have whom you have brought into that particular family. So the starting point is that we have got two marriages in Zambia. There is customary marriage and also the marriage under the act.
Just a little bit before you go further, just hold your thoughts. Please tell us about yourself briefly.
Okay.
So, who are you?
Oh,
Where
okay.
do you find you? Why are you called?
My name's okay. So my name's Mianda Banda. I am a legal practitioner, and I resigned yes from judiciary. I'm a former local court magistrate. I worked in the local court from 2012 up to 2020, when I resigned, when I was actually admitted to the bar.
Oh.
And before that, I worked for Bank of Zambia in 1988 up to 94 when they brought in Bureau de Change. We were retrenched. I'm also an accountant by profession, so I worked for Twikatane Farm Products as an internal auditor, and then thereafter I went and joined the Chirupe and Permanent Chambers as an assistant to a lawyer, and later I joined judiciary until I resigned in 2020. That's all about me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Council, and it's nice to have you once again to the program. We are joined with Uncle Jay. Uncle Jay, welcome to the program. And please say hi to the viewers. Uncle Jay, you are muted. It seems we've lost Uncle Jay. We'll get back to Council. Council, please go ahead.
Yes, so as I was saying, there are two types of marriages in Zambia. There's a marriage under the Act, and then there's customary marriage. The common law marriage, it is not applicable in Zambia. That is a British type of marriage. So we have only two types of marriages. So the definition of marriage under customary marriage is that it is a contract which is a man and a woman based on the customary law of the parties or one of the parties. So if I'm marrying a Tonga lady, we may agree that, yes, let's use our custom and also maybe her custom, or generally, because I'm on the receiving end, they may say the custom which will be applicable will be the Tonga custom. So that is customary marriage. And then the marriage under the Act, Cap 50, as defined by Lord Penzance, under the case of Hyde versus Hyde, in 1966 case, it defines marriage as a voluntary union for life between one man and one woman to the exclusion of all others. So meaning if you bring another, you marry while the marriage is subsisting, then the penal code kicks in section 66, bigamy. So you cannot marry during the subsistence of that marriage. And this marriage certificate is gotten from civic center. So if now the parties decide to divorce, for instance, to dissolve their marriage, under customary marriage, they will go to local court. If you are married under the Act, you go to High Court. And they will look at the factors which this person will adduce. There are about 5 factors. But the only ground under which the marriage under the Act can be dissolved by the High Court, it is where the marriage has broken down irretrievably. So the party should now produce one of the factors like adultery, desertion for 2 years, desertion for 2 years with consent, separation for 2 years, separation for 2 years with consent, desertion for 5 years, and also unreasonable behavior. So these 5 factors, you can simply point to one factor or 2 or 3 or all of them if you can, then the court will grant divorce. That is in the High Court. However, the one under the local court, the grounds are so many. You can adduce any ground to divorce. Okay, you can say maybe this man is a drunkard, or he has failed to give me children. He does not, give me the conjugal rights. So any ground which you can adduce in the local court, then they'll grant divorce. Now, once you have been given, once the court has granted divorce, then either party is free to marry. Now we come to the point of our topic, remarry.
We seem to be having connectivity challenges right there with Council Banda. And at this point, or at this juncture, let's get to see if we can welcome our other guest that which we have right here. Ruth, hi, good evening. How are you doing today?
I'm okay, Nancy. Good evening to you. Good evening, Himba and Uncle Jay. Good evening, viewers of Ubuntu family.
All right, thank you so much. It's good to have you in our presence. I was very worried that we are 3 men and 1 lady. Himba. At least you've come to her rescue.
You shouldn't be. Himba is well covered. And she's a woman of steel, this one. Nshimbishi.
Himba, you are muted.
Ruth, you're welcome, my sister.
Thank you very much. I'm just preparing myself. I'll be coming with my face very soon.
Brilliant. Now one for our council at ichupo chiri echa certificate nkamuli yawe kata kuli kuleta konango bambi.
Kwena nana dabwa patule sambi ndabonse.
Agenda ili kumbalire umfaite.
I hope the network goes well so we hear more from the council.
That's the two of us.
Have you seen that the marriage for Lance is not working? It's not marriage at all in Zambia, ka?
No, it's not at all. So I wish if you want to
for sure. And she's giving sleeping and claiming and giving thanks to the Lord. Gosh, sheets for lies.
Thank God Uncle Jay is here to rescue me. These women would have nailed me on the cross. Uncle Jay, good evening. I was the only man here. Uncle Jay, are you here with us? Okay, it looks like my persecution continues. Okay. Good evening. How are you doing today?
I'm well, thanks. How are you doing? Who is persecuting you, for crying out loud? Let's find out what's happening.
It's the law.
2 women.
No, it's the law.
The law. The problem is ukalako law ikakugira ati wanigwira. Ni law.
Wala kwa weka. Malumo konga malamulo.
No, you know, all of the men, you deserted me here, and the 2 women took me on. They persecuted me.
It's the law that has persecuted you. We've just heard the definitions of marriage.
That's why Timakamba to be a man. Karamamuna.
Uncle Jericho, good
Okay.
evening.
Good evening, CJ. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Himba, good evening.
Good evening, CJ, and good evening, Uncle J.
Evening, Ruth.
Good evening to you, CJ.
In network ilekosobera Uncle J kulitumangani kawama hapa. We feel back by the Lord.
Kukoloke network uko in Jesus name is a good.
This is why I'm saying you people are persecuting me. Why should you bring back what happened in the past? Let's move forward.
No, we were just talking about the law, the act of marriage in Zambia.
At what chapel, it's not worth it, Lance.
That's why know there are 1,000 divorces. Shansha can't when I'm going to divorce like I know what. Can you imagine?
You know, I know.
Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Uncle J. Uncle J.
Please, Uncle J.
Okay. Network.
Network.
Just fair. You are a fair judge. This already ganged up against me. Do you also think that my marriage is not marriage? Dr. Angele Mundu wakisa che kwao na waneba swafu ngozi oti njia yanakuka. Munga hapa so ino time ino. This is 22 wamkukiza kusense bafunga ndabo. Nja ninga yeba pyanga pasina baoneko. Singe chikwani.
Mubweze mwana wa bene. Kwasila.
Awe tamvera ma definitions hapa.
Looks like Uncle J is back. Okay. He's gone again. But anyway, let's get on a serious note. We know there are two types of marriages. Obviously, the act marriage, as Council Banda had put it, and also Nkanyama traditional marriages. Munga mwete bambili feti falling ife. Kai, you know.
Because now men are scared kulipira manyumba, are scared to feed, because now this gender is becoming a problem. Being lazy to look after women, being lazy to take up their responsibility. When they're even putting it in a better term, no, we are cohabiting. What is?
Can you imagine? I can't even name my pet cohabiting. What's that?
But okay. Let's be fair here. Let's be fair. This issue of Kenya marriage, like let's say for example, with all the financial struggle that I have, and then I come, Ruth, you charge me 30 pin for your daughter. Then your 30 pin after kulipira naya borobora na mood swings yake.
Don't
you think palingani achitecha?
Apa you
Yes, well, Ruth, go ahead.
When welcome, Uncle CJ, to be a man, I think a man should just be a man, even when married.
Actually, let's honestly, while we are waiting for counsel, let's talk about this issue of cohabiting. It's becoming common, and the men cohabiting. Uncle J, hope you are with us now. It's not Ramun. If you've noticed, one deal, okay, because we maenda kuka packing, but kambili beba kondo packing nanje tumachola tujanya mnafulu baenda ku gym hamuna. Bana amataenda ku gym ango tunja pangono you know, it has become common.
They remarry just like that.
Apa wakamupisha atantula. Futi aenda tangu futi apa. Sorry. So, Lance, what
question again clearly, Himba? I can't get it.
No, we are not. I'm not really asking Uncle Jay. It's my concern. Why is it that it has become so common now that this cohabiting is becoming normal? And in this cohabiting, in most cases it's not bakazi kugenda kunyumba kwa mwamuna kambiri beba pezeka bali bema nyumba beba bagona mu sitting room ni bamuna beba maenda ku manyumba y'abakazi anyamula kabagi kaja kabagi keve ka Jordan mama kwa niso gula kaja fula aenda ku gym anyamula every day kanza aenda kuli madam anyamula yano mpangira malamulo maningi nyumba esi yake mwamuna. Why is cohabiting becoming normal?
Oh, Uncle Jay, I think the men are just planning to take responsibilities. Montoyo purchased to pay for the love of their life, and then all you want is just to be sneaking. And I think most men are more exposed to information concerning marriage, like the council was trying to explain. Then as you at marriage, believe me now. The woman thinks, no, since I'm cooking and he's here, so in the end, I'm sure he will marry me and stuff like that, without knowing that this man is not even ready. He's just there in the Jordan waiting, look right and left to the next door to end.
In the Jordan bag.
No, you get it all wrong. You know how you women or you females are fighting for equal rights. Where a woman can do what a man can do. So what we are doing, we are just testing. We want to see if truly a woman can do what a man does.
You know, only testing, we got a problem in this testing. Ruth, mukasendeka point aka mwise mwingire muli testing mwali bana problem because if like tika normally test that you give a woman the responsibility. Apparently forever nakashinu forever die hard we can manage to mount purpose. You will answer the day the woman will come back late home. You will hey, where did you go? So if you've decided to swap responsibility or gender responsibilities or other social risk, there's gender and social responsibilities. So if you've decided to swap your social responsibilities, even when iwe ukabwela leti nkala pa nyumba kai ngonafuna nkala nchi unachenga position yanga usazini funa iwe ndine nikudieza pa nyumba usambe vote alibe mwambo ningale mwambo morova bakamba kudala bakansa palibe chikwati so va myambo iya nyambo ni mchikwati.
That's very true. And, I think most women should have this information because sometimes they are just being used by men that are failing to take responsibility, and they'll come in with a word no because of equal rights. So let's do things like this. But at some point, certain things, the human right is hidden on certain level. Kakadka human right kachoka, you know, that kind of a thing, which is not good enough.
No, okay, like listen to this. Initially, a man is the head of the house, right? So
with or without human rights.
Okay, so
which
with or without with or without human rights, a man is the head of the house. Whichever house.
Which house?
Whichever house, as long as I'm in a house where there's a female, I should be the head, whether I'm the one providing or not. Whether I'm providing or not, I should be the head. So now look at this. The fact that the female folks want to say, okay, equal rights, we can do what a man can do. Okay, so you can do what a man can do. Let me shift into your house. You do everything that a man can do, except coming back home late. You can't do that. You are not the head. Yes, you are not the head. Here we're only talking about taking care of the family, you know, buying home necessities, taking care of, you know, the financial situation of the house.
Yes. Kamba chizungu kuvinvesa bino vintu vyo kamba. Ukoni kusebenzesa mkazi. That is taking advantage of the woman. Which I think yes, that is taking advantage. And you know, women, let us be careful. These men, they will come to us, no, I love you, wamupunzisa, wamugulira na belt. Actually, wise people, they say, if you want to see how responsible a guy is, it's a guy who can manage to buy his own underwear and a belt. Mwamuna we akango kugula belt wanaika na staples. Just know that kind of a man, ikako question mark. There's something wrong somewhere. If he can't, but you know, come a step and belt now it becomes more serious. Why is over a belt? It draws the end of the month.
No, it's not that. It's not that trousers the end of the month. When buying the trousers, I just make sure that I buy my size. If it's 24, why should I buy 25? Let me buy 24. Because that is cost effective.
That is cost effective. Belt ilikuwa trousers ya kila msana waende kula trousers at significant kazika belt cost effectively. Nya bwanje. So now Vazikas, let us open our eyes. These men who come in the name I love you, tengani, akutenga just like that. Yes, we are not saying they should pay a lot of money. You shouldn't be charging a lot of money. Just make sure the right procedures take place. If whatever the man can manage, we know if a process yachtika. You know, Bamanga, there's a major street who was saying, somebody was like, you people, divorce. There was nothing, there was nothing. So you get that? So we women, me, I'm speaking on behalf of this strong gender women. Women tend to say men. So hey, you know, this culture of no, I should be called Mrs. because no not in Mamuna, you know, it's I think for me it doesn't make sense. Ango kudreninga moja, ango kudreninga palasta na my girlfriends pamene mundu mozi elo yovuti kilamu. Women, it's time for us to open our eyes. Being a Mrs. it's not a career. Nizi wakaucha yatu imatuza te kwatile. Abo bura na tuma Jordan banzawa. Elo ni wama muscles na mabody wana beauty na buno kazi tata. Ruth, over to you.
That's very true. As much as one would think of, no, I would love to remarry so that you have that stability and all that. But it's very important to have your eyes open. And like we have heard on marriages in Zambia that are existing by law, personally, I feel most marriages are not marriages at all. And sometimes that is why we have this big number of divorce, which was not even a marriage, because it's like, especially when people are remarrying, very few people would want to put things into consideration. Everybody would say it's our second marriage, or it's our fifth marriage, or fourth, or whatever it is. Then you just look at it like, I think sometimes some people would say there's no need to drop them and my parents and stuff like that. Then they will just be living as man and woman. And each one of them thinks in their heart or in their mind that we are a couple, we are married. Can't see. According to the laws of the land, a marriage, there is no. Then when that time comes, now we want to follow the process. No, we got married and things were like this. But now you want to follow the procedure. So considering remarrying, it's important to have information, be well informed concerning marriage, as one would want to enter into their second, fourth, or seventh, maybe.
Now, it's still on that issue, Ruth. I want to bring you to terms with this scenario. Yakutanje mukazi we uli naye. So nakwatira quite right. Yakutanje maybe enze ni customary or it was under the law. Nyakutanje muna damage na damage ni ma family ya yankana chepa mozi nokambawe that damage uzalipira so much, then ngati umufuna uzamutenga uzalipira so much, ngasi umufuna uzamusiya but damage ufuna kulipira. So you decide, okay, I would like to spend the rest of my life now amenewo. So bakucha damage bakuchaja kumozinaza kutanjere zomutengera. You don't even go through or under vigivactati awe ni customary mwambo shanshani yai walipira damage wabalipira nokubalipira ze bakuchaja kukizo mutengera, then mwatengana chabe pepa jausiriza. In fact pepa jausiriza olipira za damage mukazi akuka nokuka mwambo nkala bonse pa nyumba, then mwabalako na bana maybe bali 4 or 5, then mukazi manje nkani as usual, anyway, I will represent my men as usual. Mubwera leti, mwenda shani. That's nagging, really unnecessary. Then manje, what do you do as a man in this situation? You knocked in sunga muchite divorce because there's no proof of marriage apart from as he calls it cohabiting. Vana bali 4, they were all through cohabiting. How do you manage this situation?
Okay. In the first place, Ruth, go ahead, please.
When counsel was explaining, though I came in a bit late, but he explained something concerning tradition marriage. Apart from customary and the Ijaku court and the local court, he talked about something about tradition. So in this case, where families are involved and the charge and upcharge, I feel there must be some traditional values or some traditional evidence to say that Arabantu, that they should live together as husband and wife.
There's no there's literally no proof. There's nothing to show for this marriage.
But you talked of saying Tankala policy as a family, and then when each other,
damage,
marriage and damage or something like that. You mentioned that in that scenario.
Yes. Yes.
Even though I'm not a lawyer, I feel even though there isn't enough evidence, the fact that there was a sitting, agreements were made. Those are verbal agreements, I'm sure. Even to pass already.
It can't be proved in the courts if we want to divorce.
Just Nancy, just to add on what we're saying.
When it comes to divorce, 10 years when come back to, there's no way unga ende kumanje ku court for divorce. And then
but the thing is, as long as the two families sat together and that was a marriage, Lance. Yeah. That is a marriage. There was an agreement there. Yeti kamba niye manya mlatu mabagi fruenda kujimu mwena kambira twa kujimu nje pali ma problems, but where the two families got together and bavomeleza nato tizachaja kwenze damage kwa chitachali chija chikwati kwa mene kujandira mazeva kuchaja kumanga. We have the council back. Council, welcome to the program.
It's unfortunate this technology is disappointing us. The network is so bad here.
Yelo nishimeze mwati panga bwino.
I think I just want to chip in on I've heard my sister or a caller talking about damage and also marriage. Now, I just want to chip in on that. And also that maybe you just agreed at home and then people may say this and that, that it was not marriage, it was divorce. So the starting point is, you see, Chikwati in Zambia, it is measured by the issue of one paying dowry. That is what we should bear in mind. Chikwati, for it to be called marriage, dowry must be paid. So to be called a marriage. But where dowry has not been paid, it has been charged, but has not been paid, or it was not charged, and these people proceeded to start living together. that is not marriage, simply cohabiting. That is a common law marriage, Yaku England, which is not applicable here in Zambia. So you should know that these people, whether they have stayed together for 60 years and their children and grandchildren, as long as dowry was not paid, that is not marriage in the eyes of Zambian law. Okay? Then secondly, the issue of damage must be separated from marriage. Now, damage is breaking the virginity of a girl who has never slept with another man. That's all. That is the definition of damage. Okay? So, whether this girl I slept with, who is a virgin, does not conceive, is not pregnant, still they can charge me damage. So damage is not pregnancy, no. That's simply evidence that there was sex. It's simply another evidence to show that truly I slept with this person. But whether I slept with this person and there's no pregnancy, still they can charge me damage because I've broken the virginity of that girl. Okay? So those two must be separated. So if I break the virginity of a girl, that is not marriage, it is damage.
So if it is not Havana 5, you still qualify to be damaged.
And me, I'm the second person. I cannot be charged damage. Okay? So now the issue of marriage, where you marry at home, you see, of course there will be witnesses. A marriage need not to have a certificate. No. If somebody is marrying my niece, I'll be caught. I'll charge that person. And that person will not come alone. He'll come with a representative. So those are witnesses who say, yes, money, you see, exchanged hands. So that constitutes a marriage. Just like when I come to your house to do this work, you don't tell me to sign, but you pay me. If you pay me, I'll go to court and say, it work here. So you cannot hide behind and say, no, in a sign land. But did he come to work? Yes, he worked. So what is that? So there's oral contract. So even the marriage, so don't measure it by a certificate. No. So measure it with the exchange of cattle. I gave 2 cattle. I was told to pay 2 cattle. But we didn't sign anywhere. And these cattle were received by the uncle of the girl. So they cannot turn around and say, but this person, why did you receive these cattle? Why did you charge him? You see, all that.
But Council Banda, can I? The topic
left was about the remarry. So remarry, now there are 2 sides of a coin. Remarry is where we divorced, and then I proceed to marry again. I divorced with Mary, and then I proceed to marry Jane. That is the marriage. Or indeed, I divorced Jane. The court divorced me and Jane. Mr. Banda, divorce is granted by the court. I can still remarry Jane. Okay? Now, then it is dowry. Whether it is the same person I'm marrying, I have to pay the second dowry. I cannot use the old dowry. Just like if I'm working for Zesco and I'm paid my benefits, which I worked for 10 years, and they've given me. So if they want me back because of maybe my expertise, I'll go into a new contract. And when I work for 2 years, they cannot tell me that we already paid you. No, that was a different contract. So even the issue of remarriage is also under the same principle. Because it is the same person, but there's a divorce certificate which was granted by the court. And therefore, if I want to remarry this person, I will have to go through another ceremony. So they have to recharge me. I cannot bank on the previous one, because the previous one, there's a bridge which was there. It was cut. So that is remarry now. So now what happens to the properties which we actually, if for instance, Mary divorces John. And then John and Mary remarries after 2 years or after 3 months. Are we together?
Yes,
Can you get me?
we are following.
Okay. So if the same people remarry, those properties which they had in the first marriage, remember, the court ordered that, for instance, they share half-half. For argument's sake, if we had 2 houses and the court orders that I get the house in Libala and then my wife gets the house in Kablonga, and the 2 months after, down the line, I remarry and we go through the same process, I pay dowry. They even say no kayuyu munda wa kudara, so I pay. That is the second marriage. Now, if we want to divorce, we cannot actually bring those 2 properties into the equation. Those are subject of the former judgment. So we only share properties which we acquired together during subsistence of the marriage. So
we are listening.
Properties we are shared
We are listening.
during the subsistence of the first marriage. We cannot share them because we'll come with them in the second marriage. So each one will get them the way they are. We're not defeating the old judgment which was given. We'll only share those properties which we have acquired during that short period or that second marriage. That's how it is. Thank you.
But counsel, don't you think somehow the law there has got a lapse? Because if, yes, we divorce and then maybe we come back for a remarriage, it means it's a new contract. Don't you think somehow there the law is being unfair to the man for them to, first of all, kulipira futi dowry ya new, then inkania sharing if there's another divorce looming or coming about, kulipe kupendelako vija kayalianza bwera navaki, so tipovikira pamozi, the two shall be one, tipovikira pamozi, then tiftafuti na recount in the second divorce.
Well, you see, the law, it depends on which side you look at it. For the law, there's no draw. That's one thing you should know. If a person is acquitted, for example, a criminal case, he will celebrate. But the other party will feel injured. And always they will attack the law that this law is not okay. But if this person is convicted, the other person will be happy, and the one who is convicted will seem not to be happy and say the law is not fair. Okay? Now, coming to your question where you're saying, you see, these particular properties, don't you think that it is not fair where these properties you brought them and then you don't want to share? You see, the law looks beyond what we think. Okay? Because people can use the law to deprive others. In Zambia, we don't have a community of property. A community of property where I know Jane is rich. She has got 5 houses. Imagine that situation. And then I married Jane with the purpose that when we stay only 3 months, I'll ask the court to divorce so that we share those properties. Now, me, I haven't come with anything. You see, I should not use the law as an engine to defraud others. No. So I married Jane, who has got 6 houses already and is working, is a banker, has got money in the account. And then me, I'm simply John Sorio Wali. And then I marry this person. And then after 2 years, I say, no, let's divorce. And then I rushed to court, said, we want to share these properties. I don't think it's fair because the law will be opening a way for crooks to be milking innocent people's properties. So that's why the law is clear that you only share the property which you have acquired together during the subsistence of the marriage. During the subsistence of the marriage. Period. So the law there is very, very fair. That is
okay. Thank you so much, Council. What about now? We are talking about where death occurred. The husband lost a wife, and the wife lost the husband, and there are children now involved. What happens? And even in a case where the other partner, again, the second partner gets to pass on, what happens, and how do the children benefit in such a situation or arrangement?
Okay, so maybe you can paraphrase your question, because you are saying this person died, maybe the man died, and the widow has got children, and this widow remarries. That's the question?
Yes, and they both come in with children and property. Both sides, they have children
so
and property.
The properties. So my wife dies, I've got 2 houses, I've got 2 children.
Yes.
And then I'm a widower. I married the widow also who has got maybe say 5 farms and also say 3 or 4 children.
Yes. Yes.
So she has come with those properties. I've come with those properties. So if we bought children in marriage, if we bought children in that marriage, and we acquire those properties during subsistence of the marriage, the catch will be these children whom I came with, you see, whom I came with, me as a man, and that lady, her children will be deemed as dependents. You see what the problem is? But for me, the children I came with as a man, regarding those particular properties which were acquired in that particular marriage, those children, they all have to share. So not her children, but my children as a man. But those properties which we brought into that marriage, my children cannot have a share in the properties of the widow. And neither can the widow's children whom she came with can have a share in the properties which I came with. They are not part and parcel of that particular new marriage, if at all we divorce.
Okay. So which means...
So if at all those children want to benefit from the properties which were acquired, then those children should be adopted. If they are not adopted, then they become dependents in those properties.
Okay. So what about now in your new marriage?
Sorry?
Yes, Council. I think you've made yourself clear, but I think I would love you to come again on that point. I'd love you to come in again on that point.
Which point? On which properties?
On properties which we've come with from our previous relationships.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In Zambia, unless maybe in South Africa, in Zambia we don't have community of property. Community of property, meaning if I marry today, for the first time, for instance, I've never married, I've married a lady, and the situation where I say, no, I'm a banker, first I'll marry when I buy 5 houses, so I buy 5 houses, I bought 2 cars. If I marry a lady, and this person say, no, I'll marry a villager, because these Nsaka women are very clever. So I marry a villager. I bring her home. When we divorce, at the time of divorce, she cannot claim those properties which I bought before that marriage. But in a certain jurisdiction, that particular property, that particular property that particular property, when we divorce, we're talking about divorce. When we divorce, she claim, okay? She cannot claim those particular properties because we have a community of property. In South Africa, when we I believe in that jurisdiction, when I come with those properties and we're divorcing, we have to share. But I bought them before, in fact, I married this lady. But in Zambia, no. Okay.
Council.
But now the only church where this particular lady may benefit or where the man may benefit is at the time of death. At time of death, if I die, leaving those 7 properties which I bought before marriage, they form part of my estate. So the widow will have a share according to Intestate Succession Act if I did not leave a will under Section 60 of the Wills Act. Have you seen the difference there? There's the other one, there's death. The other one, there's just a normal divorce. So under normal divorce, we cannot share. But under death, if she, for argument's sake, if my mother died or my parents died, I did not have any child, no dependents, it means 3/4 of the share will go to that widow. Notwithstanding these properties, I acquired them before marriage.
Council, thank you so much. What about in a situation here?
Of those properties, for argument's sake, after I die, and she remarries, still the new husband cannot claim those properties. Cannot claim those properties because so that new marriage, that new husband cannot have any share whatsoever. They only have share the properties which they will acquire in that new marriage.
What about in the case of the council?
It's quite confusing.
When you're marrying the second wife, you got the first. What about if you mwaletamu mpali, mwaletamu wa number 2, tankala for 10 years, then after 10 years wamuna wangata waina maningi, nifuna ukwatira winangu.
May I just chip in before Council goes ahead and gives the legal analysis?
Please go ahead, Vomkelebai.
Sorry to interrupt.
So you're saying if you marry another wife, and then what happens? You divorce?
Oh, okay. Vomkelebai, just a bit. Inesi mumpali.
I can't get you.
Where are you?
Repeat yourself.
You are not divorcing the first wife. You've lived with the first wife maybe for 10 years. And then you decide to say, okay, I want to marry the second wife. There's no divorce, there's no death. What happens with the property you acquired before you married the second wife?
There, if now, yes, you have brought in the second wife. Maybe you have stayed. So I don't know whether you are saying I should divorce one. You want to divorce one, or you want to divorce all of them? What is the question?
Once only now.
Which is which? Sorry?
Because you are Tonga at the same time you are Banda, and I'm like,
no. It is just okay. You see, actually, I don't know, but I haven't got the question very, very well.
No, her question was if you were
talking about
her question was if you are polygamous.
The first wife is old, and then now during time of divorce, of course, the court has to.
No, there's no divorce there. No divorce, counsel. You are marrying the second wife.
If it is death, I died as as a man, and I left a lot of cattle, I think the court will take into account the number of years this person has come into this marriage. So the first wife will benefit more than the second wife. I think that's the position of the law under Intestate Succession Act.
No,
So
in an event where somebody dies.
Okay. And even I think even the issue of divorce. You see, the laws sometimes you look at how much each party contributed. Okay, you'll find this person has been there in the marriage for many years, and the other one just came into this marriage just maybe 3 years, and the other one has been in this marriage. The first wife, say 15 or 20 years, and we want to go for divorce. The starting point is even just one wife. You see, where we had only one house, the court cannot say we share half-half. I think that would be unfair, because they have to look at how much each has contributed towards that. Okay? If you look at the case of Chiwe versus Chiwe 2000, it's a very celebrated case. You see that Mr. Chiwe, Rosemary Chiwe, and the other gentleman, I've just forgotten the first name, Chiwe versus Chiwe 2000. So this man had a lot of companies in Copper Belt. Okay, so when they went to court, the local court granted a divorce. I think she was given about 25,000 kwacha. She was not happy with that particular verdict. He appealed to subordinate court. Subordinate court added something there. High Court, she was of course carrying the day. High Court again added, I think it's the House. She appealed to Supreme Court, and Supreme Court, Mr. Chiwe, knowing that now this woman is carrying the day, started, you see, changing the companies into his brothers and sisters' names and all that. And the court had to go further and lift the veil to check who are the owners of these companies. It was found that they were for Mr. Chiwe. And the court proceeded to share those properties, but they did give Mrs. Rosemary Chiwe equal to Mr. Chiwe, because the amount which Mr. Chiwe contributed, I believe, was more than the other. So they did not go for 50-50 as the British Watchdale versus Watchdale case, which we used to use some time back. So they did not go for 50-50, but she was given substantial property. So even the question which you are asking, they cannot say because this person has just come 3 months, then they should give her equal to the first wife. I think the court is also fair. They are learned, and they know all those things, so they cannot go into that direction.
Councillor Banda, thank you so much for being elaborating. At this time, let me allow Mukeleva to come through and obviously ask a question, share a view, or express a comment. Mukeleva, over to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was amazing. It's good to have at least have a legal analogy on all these issues that we believe in. Especially the customary law that we have embraced as a country, and we always forget that our customary laws are not written anywhere, and our customary laws are the ones that permits a Tonga man to have more than 10 wives, like King whatever, Muswati, whatever you call him. Customary law does allow those things, and we do enjoy those rights. And the law in Zambia provides that we have a dual legal system. Unfortunately, the law that we inherited from these British colonials carries the day. Most of our customary laws are purported to be repugnant to natural justice, and then the law that we have, that is written, carries the day. So that's why we have these conflicts among our citizenry, especially those citizenry who are not so much conversant with what is at stake. When we talk about marriage, yes, we have 2 types of marriages or 3 types of marriages in our country. Either you marry under customary law, that is where you can just pick someone and elope someone, and it is considered a marriage in our customary law. But with a statutory marriage, which is civil marriage, you have to go through the normal channels where you go civic center, mwaenda mwasaina na mapepa, but then bachita bwanji wa ceremonize makupa sign na marriage certificate. Okay, that is the statutory marriage. And when it comes kuma divorces, vimapu sana. Muli statutory marriage, muja mumafunikira kuti walangiza ma reasons. You give reasons to show that this marriage has broken down irretrievably, that you can never bring back this marriage. Kwasila. But in customary law, in a customary marriage, any reason can go and you'll be granted divorce. Any reason. Bamuna banga banunka mukama. Granted. Bamuna banga bagona na bombasa. Mukazi wanga gona na bomba. Granted. They do those things because it's in our customary and it's not written anywhere. Amen. So even when we are giving advice, TN teach the observe my traditional or my customary, my laws, my miambo, maybe to come miambo, yes. Miambo, then malamulo yolembewa. Malamulo yolembewa, the laws, the statutory laws. And whether we are allowed to do what we do. Muli customary, we are allowed to pay dowry, to show that marriage has been contracted. Muri statutory marriage, all you need is just witnesses and you go and sign a paper. That's it. You don't need to even pay those monies that you purport want to pay. I bet to be corrected by the council if my memory serves me correct. But we should not confuse death na divorce. Vipusana, malamulo ya pusana, olo mu customary law, traditional miambo, ima pusana na eve how to share properties yama deceased with children with regards to the surviving spouses and the children that are remaining. We have the law that stipulate tilina maparliamentarian vantu vanatipangira lamulo na kutitandiza na kutipasa kuti mochitira share ma properties ngati tinaivala kulemba will because vambiri semazambian not semazambian chape vambiri I think na vakwini vanaivala vamaivala kusaina ka will. Anyway, let me not bore you on that. So I wanted to just bring out that otherwise the council Mianda, you are actually very correct when you and very educative. We would love you to ponder more on utilizing the local language and talk about customary laws and the conflicts that we have between the customary laws and the statutory laws. Of course, because we are a religious country, we also bring religious laws or, beliefs. Like Catholic marriage, you can never divorce. It's not allowed to divorce. That's what they say. In perpetuity, you can marry in perpetuity, unless I don't know. So those are issues that we need you, as the legal experts, to come in and explain to the people, educate the majority so that they know what they have at stake. And issues yameni mwakamba pa earlier is it elopement and marriages? Those are issues that I would love you to dwell so much on, so that the majority, an average Zambian out there knows. Because wakazi bambiri banatengewa mu bikwati. Yes,
thank
please.
you so much. Hold your thought, my darling. You've got too many thoughts, so hold that one. I'll get back to you again. Because in Mzalipira Ndarama. Council, please respond to Mukelebai.
Hello?
Nancy, over to you, please.
Yes, Council, we can hear you. Please come in and get to respond to Mkelebai's concern of legal experts.
So I just want to say one thing on the property, because we're on the issue of remarry. I've heard what the other gentleman was saying. I just want to come in on the issue of marriage under Catholic. Okay, so the marriage under Catholic is not under the Act, first and foremost. It is a customary marriage. It is traditional marriage, and the jurisdiction is the local court. The people who are married under Catholic, they are given a certificate, which I remember some 2-3 years ago or 4 years ago, I was caught before the Judicial Complaint Authority for divorcing a marriage under a Catholic church. Suffice to say that I was on firm grounds before actually divorcing them. I actually went to see the administrator at Pop Square. Monica told me that it is traditional marriage and the local court had jurisdiction. However, the way the other caller stated that they said if you are married under Catholic Church, these people, when they have got a dispute, they are told to go and divorce to Catholic Church. And the administrator told me that they don't divorce them, and they shall never divorce them. And no one has ever been divorced under their own court within the Catholic Church. So, however, if they come to local court, you can proceed to divorce them. So it is customary. It is under the Act. Although there was a misunderstanding, the Judicial Complaint Authority, they said no, it was under the Act. But I was on firm grounds because there was also a letter which came from High Court authorizing the local court to divorce marriages from Catholic Church. So even when they wrote to them, they actually exonerated me that you are right to on firm ground to divorce. So I want to talk about also the issue of, you see, where I marry and I die. The law is saying if I left the house, matrimonial house, the widow has got a life interest to live in that house, save or except where she remarries. The word remarry, our topic, where she remarries. So now, what happens if a lady brings the boyfriend in that house and even 4 children, and my relatives, they bring that person before the court? Say, no, this person on ana mimba nyumba ya mwana wanga or my uncle, my nephew. So we want her to leave this house. The issue is she cannot leave that house until they prove that it is a marriage. Because being pregnant does not mean you are on Chikwati. People get pregnant when they're grade 12 or grade 6. So you can't say you are in Chikwati. No. So the law is is saying this person will only leave that matrimonial house when she remarries. So the person who alleges, my relative, that this person, they should show that there was this marriage certificate which was given. There was this ceremony wedding and this person paid dowry, but not a boyfriend. So they are looking at it from a moral point of view. So morality and law do not mix. It is wrong for her to start bringing boyfriend on where I used to sleep with her. But the law allows that because the law is saying remarry. That is not marriage. So she cannot lose that property because of having a boyfriend and even having children in my house. So that must also be borne in mind as regards property where we're talking about remarry. So people confuse that this person, because and then no, she should leave that house. She cannot leave that house. She's protected by the law. I think Section 9 of Intestate Succession Act is talking about when this person remarries. So you should prove what is marriage. What is marriage? So does not mean you say that is marriage. No. This person has remarried. No. So she cannot lose property on that basis. So people say, no, this law is not fair. But the law is fair. It is clear. It is saying remarry until this person remarries. Even me as a man, if I'm living, my wife left the house, the law protects me that as a widower, I've got a life interest in that particular property. Meaning I have to live in that house until death. I'll only leave that house when I remarry another lady. But if I start bringing girlfriends in that house, there's no one. I'm protected by the law. So that is another issue for remarry as regards, I think, the property.
All right. Thank you so much, Council Banda. We really appreciate. At this point in time, let's get to engage our viewers that are watching us from different platforms. If you're watching us from Facebook, we have provided a link for you to join us right into the studio. Let's have a one-on-one interaction. Jenny Tishimike, let's get to talk about my experiences. I mean, itapitamo kapena veta onako obviously one tunaonako kutio paja panyumba panashika vaso kuja kunashika vaso. Let's get to come here and get to share those particular experiences. And then if you are watching us from YouTube, we'll be glad to hear from you as well. The link has been shared as well as on Twitter. Or better still, leave a comment and we'll be glad to read that particular comment. Speaking of comments, Director, let's get to see the messages that have come through so that we can get to appreciate different people that are watching us from different places, as well as using different platforms just to get to watch this particular interview. So Josephine says, how am I coming up as the first one? Okay. Josephine says, if you paid everything you were charged by family for you to marry that lady, and that is marriage and not cohabiting. It is called traditional marriage. Thank you so much, Josephine. I think I have a question for Council on this one as well. Thank you so much, Josephine. Let's get to move to the next message. Caroline says, good evening, Ubuntu family, watching from Foxdale, Nsaka. Thank you so much, Caroline. Good to know that you are watching this particular broadcast. Priscilla says, I'm watching from Ndola. Nice topic. Good evening. Thank you so much, Priscilla. We really appreciate you following the program. And then Mary says, did I hear that when the person who has died had properties before marriage, the property is for the acquirer of those property? Then we have a strong legal case over my brother who died. Okay, looks like Council has arisen certain cases. Council, be ready to represent people in court. Let's get to another message that has come through. So Mary comes back and says, this Council Banda is talking good. Thank you so much, Mary. We really appreciate that you are following the program. And then let's get to move on. She comes back again and says, I wouldn't be married from certain church as they are cults. Of course.
Nice one.
Okay, Chilekwa says, great program, watching from Nsaka. Thank you so much, Chilekwa. We really appreciate you following the program. Any other message that we have? If we don't, let's get back to Council Banda right there. Or maybe before I get back to Council Banda, we have Chaza in the building. Chaza, hi, good evening. How you doing? Welcome back to Lusaka.
Thank you. Good evening. How are you doing?
Well, not bad. Surprised that today you have joined the Pansaka. Welcome.
Yeah, you know, I was scheduled to be on the program, so I've been following remotely. So I just needed to signal that I'm here. You know.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Do you have any question, comment, or maybe you want to share a view?
Yeah, I think I'm interested in getting to hear what our guest will say concerning, you know, the ownership or devolvement of ownership of property as regards one who dies in a marriage. So, because I've seen that one of the viewers has commented to say property will actually remain with the acquirer. So, if the property was bought, for example, by a husband, then the wife dies, then it remains with the husband. I just want to hear the comment from counsel there.
All right. Thank you so much for your coming through. We really appreciate. Council, you may take up that question which came through from, if I'm not mistaken, it should be Mary. The issue to do with.
Okay, so I've heard that question, the last question. That's the one which I got loud and clear. That if a person dies and left property with the other spouse, the surviving spouse, what happens to that property? I think I alluded to the fact that Section 9 of the Intestate Succession Act, there are two sides of it. I may die, and like in my case, I wrote a will that in case I die, his properties should devolve to my children. Okay? So there will not be a problem if I die. Meaning they come and in some grave those have been given a share. So they cannot trouble children. So I've taken care of that. In a situation where somebody did not leave any will, instructions as to how his properties should be distributed or shared, then the Succession Act Cap 59 of the laws of India kicks in. Means our parliamentarians, our laws of Zambia clearly stipulate how that property should be distributed. So here is a catch. As regards the property which, for example, I left the house and my wife is the one who is living there. So she's protected by the law, according to Section 9, I believe, that has got a life interest, meaning she will live in the house until death. She will live into, saying she should change that house into her names. No, she should not change that house into her names. So she will live there as long as God keeps her. She will only leave that house when she remarries. Okay? So, if she remarries, then it means the 100% she will come to the children. Okay? So, short that house or the house which I left, it means it will devolve on the children whom I left behind. She cannot change. I think the law is very clear, and it's good in the sense that if my wife left the house and she died, then I'm the widower living in that house, and I change it into my names, and I remarry, and then later I. You see, the new wife will say this property was for my late husband, me. Yet in reality, it was not my property. It was for my first wife. So the house cannot devolve into, it should not be changed to my names. No. The law simply allows me to live in that house as long as God keeps me. So that is how that particular property should be treated. And in case I die, then it shall devolve unto my children. In case if I did not leave any child, in case that particular daughter dies, it shall ricochet to my relatives. That's how it is.
Councillor, thank you so much.
These, for example, the widow, indeed, you say, no, I think me, I just want to get my share. So I approach my pongos or whatever, say, no, let's share, so what we share. The issue is I've got a share in that particular property. The law allows that particular share according to section 5 when tested succession. So it has already stipulated how I will get those shares. The calculation, that's how they are. They are there in section for the Intestate Succession Act. So there's no much of a problem in that regard.
Okay, thank you so much, Council. As we are going towards the end of the program, I would mutiuze kuna ma percentages. Okay, general percentage when there's a death that has occurred in whichever of the deceased. What is the percentage?
Go to the question. So let me just quickly go through that. Section 5 stipulates how those percentages should be. If, for argument's sake, I die, and say I was working for Bank of Zambia, and I've left estates. Now, estates, you should know that estate does not mean only a house, a farm. It also includes debts and liabilities. So I owe a neighbor 10,000 kwacha. I got a loan from the bank, 50,000 kwacha. All that put together called the estate. So the starting point is that from all the estates, we have to pay the debts first before we distribute to the beneficiaries. Okay? That's why you would find that a person, the law says any person who has got an interest can become an administrator. Any person who has got an interest. So the interest is, Mr. Banda used to owe me 1 billion. So it doesn't mean that my relatives or my children should become administrators. No. Any person who has got an interest, even a neighbor can become an administrator because he has got an interest. I bore a child from them. So his interest is over that child. So he can become an administrator. So now, the issue is the administrator has to pay debts first before distributing to the intended beneficiaries. So Congole balipile to zonse. Then in manji zaneza salama assets ndiye amene bakamba kudati jebagale. So the way they will share is 20% will go to the widow. 20% will go to the parents, if at all those parents are there of the deceased. 10% will go to the dependent, and 50% will go to the children, if at all there were children there. Okay, so this is how it is. If at all my parents died, I just left the widow and the children. So it means the widow get 35%, the children get 65%. This is what is there in the Intestate Succession Act. If at all there is only the parents and the children, it means the parents will get 30%, the children will get 70%. If at all there is only the children, my parents died, there's no dependent, no widow or widower, then 100% will go to the children. If at all the children are not there, Not even my cousin survives. There's no near relative. Then that estate, no parents, no widow, no widower, no children, no grandchildren or great-grandchildren, then that property ricochets to the state. We call it bona vacante. If you go to Chaisa, Bering's flats, which has been taken over by the state, and the police officers were staying there. So that is bona vacante. So there is no any person who came that Mr. Bering was my uncle, or Mr. Bering was my grandfather. So those flats in Chaisa, the Bering flats where the police officers are staying, it ricocheted to the state. It's the state which will benefit 100%. So there are police officers now staying there. So that's how the share of these properties is done. Thank you.
The last question before I bring in my colleagues, counsel. At what age is somebody allowed to administer over the properties of a deceased?
When he has reached the age of majority, I believe when this person has reached the age of 16 to 18. 16 years, you get the NRC. 16 to 18, you can administer that property.
Okay.
Usually 18, because you have reached the age of maturity. So you can become an administrator. You can administer.
Okay. Thank you so much, counsel. Thank you so much, counsel. So, nasuna mlewantu twasambira pwefinga pa in conclusion ala pansaka pano twisa mkuja mukusambirisha nyako mujitonga twakati mano mabulwan.
Thank you. No, na Konbela Maningi, thank you for also participating in this new program. It's a very interesting program, and really liked the deliberations. Thank you very much. Good night.
So counsel has left. My computer played up. I don't know what happened. It just went black. Anyway, thank you so much. In our conclusion remarks, because the guest has already left us, Ruth, what is your conclusion remarks as we conclude the program?
I feel we have a lot to learn. Council has given us a number of things that many of us would want to overlook in terms when you are remarrying, and why certain people face challenges when a partner dies. And all these things are given in because they are coming in, and sometimes you may not handle them well because you did not take time to learn or to find out what may happen. Because usually, just like Womukeleba had mentioned, most of us Africans, we live like we are going to live forever here on earth. But it's important to take things into consideration, and especially with the mushrooming of churches everywhere. I feel some marriages are not marriages at all. Just because they laid hands on you and pronounced a husband and wife, then you go home celebrating that Satakwatirana Kanshi, in the land of the nation, marriage there is no. So it's important not to just get excited when you want to remarry, but get the right information and do the right things to protect yourself, your property, and your children as well. Thank you.
Mulelanda konefutundi feta tumfe ekisungu ekikyo mulelanda okumutampire. Chaza, over to you.
I will.
Chaza, your conclusion remarks. Conclude.
Yeah, it's been a great program, and I'm so well fortified by the submissions. There's a lot that comes out from this program. I think it's definitely a program not to miss. And thank you so much to all the participants, all those that have come through on the program.
Thank you. Lance?
Okay, so it was a good program. Thanks a lot to the panelists.
turnaround and then in 100 meters.
Thank you so much, Lance. Womkelebai.
Thank you. The program was amazing. It was good to have someone from the legal fraternity coming in to educate the masses on the legal rights of the topics at hand. There's one thing I wanted to just say before he left, but then he left. I wanted to remind him to encourage, or rather to explain to the Tonga speaking people, my cousins, my mbuyas, that dependence does not mean you are above 40 and come and pretend to be a dependent and claim even get the 10% share. Dependent starts from, it's those that are still underage and have not of the legal age, have not reached the legal age, maturity age, or they're in school, they're dependent on the deceased that was providing. That was an issue I wanted him to explain to the people who is entitled, who is a beneficiary. Otherwise, the program was very educative, and we need to ponder much. And your questions also were very, very good.
Womkelebai, I heard your thoughts. I'll get back to you. We've just been joined by Lawrence in the studio. Lawrence, in 1 minute as we are closing the program.
Thank you so much, Himba. Good evening, Ruth, Womkelebai, and Chaz are there, including yourself, Himba, and the viewers.
Good evening. Good evening.
I'm just here to appreciate the show that you've given us. I joined you for the last couple of minutes, and I've heard your deliberations towards the end. And as usual, always great to see you on a Thursday. You guys really, really, really teach us a lot. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much to the viewers, and thank you for being with us. By the way, I am other extra program, my private programs ya karibu sila, because we are missing Evangelist Shabula. To our viewers, we just want to inform you that Evangelist Shabula is going to be with us as soon as possible. We just have some private agenda which he's attending to, and he'll be back on the program as usual. But bear in your mind that we'll be bringing different guests according to the topic, and some we are looking for us to have the right information which is going to educate the masses. All we are saying, thank you for being with us. Pano lyashirya pansaka opotulanda ifintu ifitushita affect in our lives, in our families. Never forget to make a date with us next Thursday. We love you all, and please, the bond of the family is love. From us, Ubuntu team, it's bye-bye. See you next Wednesday. Please don't forget to make a date with us. We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.